Who weren't born when judo got into the Olympics, much less when Mrs. Kanakogi lost her medal 50 years ago. And it's remarkable some of the things that people had to say and write about her, and I hope you'll take some time during the luncheon and walk around to the tables and read each one of them. We also have, over behind there, I'm not going to work through the crowd, but the kids and coaches from camp have been signing a poster. Actually, there were too many of us, so we've been signing 3 posters all week. We have that for you, and before we knew they were doing a nice fancy book, we've been collecting a composition book with people's personal notes, and again, all these quotes, or just about all of them except for one from Peter, have been collected from things that people wrote in the book all week and on the posters all week. And so we hope you'll have them, and I know you've got some time sitting at the doctor's offices these days, and I wanted something you could carry. Marty's proclamation made an allusion to this statement, but there's a famous, I guess it's really a poem, but it's a prayer. A woman of valor, who can find? Her price is above rubies. And it goes on to talk about, the whole rest of that passage goes on to talk about all the things seen and unseen that a woman of valor does every day to make her family, her community, and the world around her a better place, sometimes with credit, sometimes she's praised at the gates, and sometimes she gets up before dawn where no one can see her just to make sure that the basics are provided. And it's funny that Marty included it, because I was thinking about it on the way down last night from camp, that you can find a woman of valor. It's in Coney Island, and it's at the IOC with summons a complaint in her hands, and it's any place that there's injustice. We are fond, in the Jewish tradition, we are fond of retelling stories about how the world did the community wrong and the community stepped up and made a correction themselves. I have told this story about Sensei's medal for 30 some odd years that I've been in judo. When I was a little kid, I told it to classmates. When I got older, I told it to young girls and boys who were just starting out in judo. And it's not so often that we get to write a new ending to a story that we've been telling for 50 years. That 50 years later you can say, and then everybody woke up, they did their best thinking, and we were able to live happily ever after. I am tremendously grateful to the Y for 2 things. One, in an odd way, for denying Rusty Kanakogi her medal in the first place, which I think it deserves a fair amount of credit for women's judo in the Olympics, for women's world championships happening, some of which, if there wasn't this sense of injustice, if there wasn't this sense of a wrong that needed to be righted, it's not clear what sparks people, but while I didn't used to think so, I've become grateful in some respects for that. And grateful now that after all these years, that this sort of a wrong is able to be righted, and righted in a way that's public, and that hopefully inspires other little girls and boys into judo, inspires people to do what is great sport for life. I have been, and Mrs. Kanakogi mentioned it, that we have doctors and lawyers and judges in the audience who are her students, and police officers. And every one of us, I'm confident of it, every one of us is inspired to go out and make the world better, inspired to do the work that we do, in large measure because of the example that Rusty Kanakogi has set for us throughout our lives. So greetings from Judo Camp, greetings from all of your students for 50 some odd years, and thank you again for your patience this morning.